welcome back to That's About Right, a podcast about Edgar Wright. Edgar.
Yes.
I'm still saying, I did not mean to say Edgar, but I just said it.
Edgar.
Again.
Sponge tar.
Again.
This is not the first time you said Edgar.
I swear, it's not on purpose.
Hello, Edgar Wright.
Darling. This is a fourth and final discussion of Space, the sitcom that Edgar Wright directed, and Simon Pegg and Jessica Hines starred and written and developed in. So
Yay!
we finally made it to the end, so we can finally move on to movies.
Yes, thank God.
We finally made it.
Okay.
I'm so excited you can hear my dog barking in the background.
So
Colin?
I am the Wash.
I am random bystander here who still loves Colin.
And I'm the random bystander here who doesn't love Colin.
My God, how could you? After everything Colin did?
Well, actually, Colin had a joke this episode. In one of these episodes.
Had a joker?
A joke.
Oh, a joke. Yes.
A funny.
A good joke. Yeah, it was a good joke. It helped a lot with the direction, but we're not talking about just Colin. We're gonna be talking about the final 4 episodes of the series.
Yay.
And let's start the timer right off and head off into episode 11. Help. This one is actually quite a busy one. Because it turns out that there was one gag that was appearing a bunch in the previous episodes that we just completely neglected to bring up. There's a running gag involving a comic book CEO or head or whatever, and looking at Tim's portfolio and laughing evilly while having one blank eye. Turns out that's what this entire episode is about. This is about Tim finally getting the chance to prove himself to Dark Star Comics, headed by Damian Knox, and it turns out that Daisy had accidentally, not accidentally, just mistakenly put in an illustration that was very, very mean to Damian Knox, and so it's now off to a quest to retrieve the portfolio, get that bad illustration out of there, and get out as soon as you can. And that's it. It's a heist episode.
There's also the memorable subplot of Daisy and Marcia going on a jog.
Oh yeah, and it actually converges by the end of it. Like
I thought the subplot was kind of boring, but
yeah,
you get a neat little comic strip thing, which was kind of cool, and 2, it does converse at the end, like you said.
Yeah. It kind of it's not like they like it's more like they like bounce into each other and then they go their separate ways again. But yeah, the subplot, I honestly forgot about that subplot because it was just so nothing. But
it was literally just like, what are Marcia and Daisy gonna do? Jog.
And they get like competitive about it, and
Daisy gets competitive about it.
Daisy gets competitive about it. Marcia gets competitive in turn. And I guess there's some joke, a bigger joke about the dangers of exercise. There's one guy that I like where Marcia says, "I don't know, I'm feeling the effects of it already," and then she immediately smokes a cigarette.
Yeah.
Oh, also, Brian goes, I think, to dinner with his mom and tells.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a C plot, and that one also bounces in at the same point too.
Yes, they all come together.
Yeah. That subplot I also completely forgot about.
It's because the heist plot was the best part.
The heist plot was well, specifically
so
the mic part was the best part. Like it even made like because Tires comes back from episode whichever
the nightclub one.
Tires come back and it's kind of more tolerable at least in this case. It's like it's more in this case like he's being used in an actual like story instead of just like we're just gonna go for a club and bob our heads.
I actually really like the joke of him just bonding with the security guard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that.
That was so
You can see the security guard starting out is just completely disinterested. And then when he says that, I respect security guards, the guy's, oh yeah. Well,
he's like, I want to look up to. Well, hey, let me give you here's a card. Give me your name and number, and I'll let you know when you can apply. Okay. And then they like have a whole conversation. It reminds me of Brian and Mike with the other security guard.
The other security guard, yeah. When he gives him in the gun just to like test it out. And they're working a crossword puzzle together. Yeah, it's like good fun. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just a direct reference to that.
Oh, probably, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I will say, what else about it? But that heist was the best. Like, having him Tim go through an air vent.
I honestly was waiting for that to like go wrong because like in reality, like those air vents are not fit for human beings.
Oh no, not at all.
No.
I also love like, hey, Mike, keep watch. Make sure anyone's coming. And then the assistant, what's her name? Oh, what's her name? She actually becomes the major character. Sophie comes in and she's like, oh, hello, Tim. And, or Mr. Baisley or whatever he calls him. Bisley. And then later on you just hear Mike go, Tim, the assistant's coming to the door.
No. Specifically what the joke is that he tries to pretend like he didn't remember she worked there. And then that's when Mike comes on the walkie-talkie and says, Tim, that lady you fancy is headed to the door.
Yes.
And then the kicker is that when Tim walks out, he just finds Mike spooning the coffee seeds. It's just eating the coffee that way.
Leave the coffee.
Leave the coffee.
I swear to God, Mike is the best character in this whole show.
That's what I've been saying.
I thought it was Colin, but nope, Mike has won me over by this. I think this is his episode.
You did at one point say that Brian was your favorite. I mean, that was before Colin entered the picture, but...
but Mike has taken over.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Brian's close.
When they're trying to get to Dark Star Comics really quickly, and Tim, they're stopped in the car, and Tim just goes, "Why are we stopped?" Mike goes, "We ran over a cyclist."
No,
and then the cyclist is shouting at them. Tim rolls down the window. What? And then she shouts the exact same thing. And then he tells her to get over it. And they drive off and run over her bike.
What I didn't realize until I looked it up was that was actually a reference to The Sixth Sense, which is why Mike was like talking so cryptically. We ran over a lady. Who got hurt? A lady. How do you know? Because we ran her over. She's right over there.
I forgot him.
Oh my God. Just the way he delivered that was so perfect.
Yeah.
This is the first episode that I really got into.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Of season.
Obviously. No.
Actually, other than the robot one, yeah.
No, I guess the robot one a little. The robot one was more just Mike. Because the whole episode I really got into. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Because even the subplots that didn't matter, they did tie their way to the ultimate A plot in the end. Which I will give the writers credit where credit is due. That's good.
I like when Colin randomly just decided to start running away. Daisy's running after him.
Oh my God! And then Brian's
mom is just like, we've always thought you'd be a great artist ever since the dog got ran over. And then Brian sees Colin. He's like, not again. And he runs.
My favorite thing is the flashback Brian is a kid with a goatee.
No, not only that. You have to notice, and this is a callback to Colin's first episode, was the dog Pom Pom is wearing an Elizabethan collar. Dance, Colin, dance. I love that. That's a great callback.
Oh my god.
Do we like the Damien Knox, I guess?
I like his voice.
Yeah, I like his voice.
It's funny you mention his voice. I was doing some research and thinking, I wonder if this guy's showing up in future Edgar Wright films. As far as I can tell, he does not. But I did because he's a very experienced actor, showing up in Game of Thrones and Sherlock. But most importantly, he is the voice of Nicole's dad in Gumball, and also he voiced the Viking bus driver in Gumball. Which I can totally see.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant Richard for a sec. I was like, no way.
No. Nicole's dad. Yeah.
Nicole's dad, yeah.
No, he does not sound like Richard.
Could you imagine Richard Watterson being Damien Knox?
Just with that same, like, nasally voice.
Now I'm just picturing Richard with a white eye.
Ooh.
When Damien Knox got the job, the entire world started falling apart.
Oh yeah.
And with that obscure Gumball reference, the timer is done.
Then we're moving right on to episode 12, Gone. KirbyFan, why don't you discuss the summary of Gone?
Tim and Daisy are at a bar, and Tim goes to the bathroom, and this freaking weird guy asks Tim if he has any, what was it, marijuana, that was it.
Yeah.
And Tim misconfuses it for the seasoning that Daisy got while she was with an herb master.
Uh-huh.
That was a funny joke. And he doesn't give it to him. Eventually he gives it to them because they force him to hand it over. And they find out that it's not marijuana. And other things happen in that episode, but that weird subplot which is kind of the main plot, but it's just a part of it, but whatever. That's just what I remember the most. It's so weird.
Are you talking about the subplot? It's a subplot that just disappears where Mike and Brian try to look for Colin?
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I was still just talking about the marijuana and the seasoning, but that was good too. Although it was there for the first half of the episode, and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then when they reunited at the end, Daisy was like, "Oh, are you taking out for a midnight jog?" Yeah.
Yes. I was expecting like some sort of joke where like you won't believe the adventure we've had because the fact that they just don't show up.
Yeah.
No. We also see the return of what's his name? Four in the Funking Morning guy.
Dwayne Benzie.
Dwayne Benzie. Yep. He's back. He first seen like I guess having drinks with Daisy, and then Tim is just like envisions them together, and that enrages him, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But we get some callbacks to season 1, and he takes their keys and throws it in the garbage, and then he gets beaten up by pot kids.
Yeah, he gets beaten up by like 16-year-olds.
Oh, speaking of beaten up,
clever boys.
One of the dumbest jokes ever in the world. They talk about like how I think they made a joke about like how women have like the same have synced menstrual cycles or whatever. That's not important. And then they say men have like a sixth sense where they do things together too. And then they have this like pretend gunfight between Mike, Tim, and Brian, and it was just so funny. That was funny.
I love that. I love that because Brian clearly didn't understand what they were doing at first, but once he did, he was super into it. Yeah. Tim and Mike are already long past it by the time Daisy kind of makes her presence known in the room. But Brian's still knocked out on the ground. Tim and Daisy leave. Brian just sits up and is, that was incredible.
That's never happened to me before.
That's never happened to me before.
But what makes it even funnier is that they set up in the beginning of the episode that they're gonna fight the kids.
Yeah.
But literally, when they get up to that scene again, they do that same like pretend fight.
Yes.
And it's like even better.
Yeah.
And then when everybody's down, that's when Tim gets up and goes, "Run!" There's another joke that comes back into play there with the cab.
Oh yeah,
throughout the episode, there's somebody going up to them and asking for a cab. They say no. Then at that point, they need the cab. The guy goes up. Cab? Yes.
Oh, it's
great. Rule of three. Good stuff.
I feel like there was something else that I'm forgetting.
I do want to just because I know this, and I just want to say that the pretend gunfight that was actually Simon Pegg had wanted to do that for a stand-up routine, but he just didn't have a good way of like structuring that into like a joke, and so when they came into like the sitcom writing, they were like, oh, let's try this out, and I'm sure like as soon as Edgar saw this, he was like. Finally, some gunfights in Britain. And we'll get to those gunfights soon enough in a couple movies.
Oh, yes, I remember now. The point where they were like both Daisy and Tim were explaining which idea what they should do for the day with the drawings. That I got serious World's End vibes.
No, I got World's End, but what I especially got, especially when it was happening the second time, was Shaun of the Dead, when they where they were trying to like plan out their day.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
The World's End is also especially the intro of World's End, where they just start talking through like what their day was like and all the drunk adventures they've had.
Maybe it's because I've seen Shaun of the Dead recently, but there are so many points in that movie where somebody says, "What's the plan?" and then just in that exact kind of step-by-step rapid fire process that Simon Pegg did here is exactly what he does in Shaun of the Dead.
Yep. Oh yeah, without a doubt. And he's done that in other movies too.
Sophie and Tim start dating in this. There's a point where Sophie is holding a Buttercup doll, which I assume is like a reference to her. That she's kind of a darker. She's like I guess she's like more goth. I think is what they were going with, or they just had the Buttercup doll, and they said, "Hey, here, hold this."
It's a cartoon.
It is a cartoon, yeah.
That's true.
Dwayne Benzi's like his arc was so like it's just like cut off because it just seems like he's gonna get away with it and then just get beat the shit out of it.
He's beaten up by teenagers.
Beaten up by teenagers who couldn't recognize Oregano if it weren't for one of them being a catering student.
Yeah. That's so specific.
How can you tell? I'm a catering student.
There's also a point where the Daisy tells the story of Marcia telling the story of her days of nearly being an Olympic runner or something along those lines, and then she.
What does that have to do with anything? Let me tell you.
Oh yeah, that's great stuff. The interact with that, but the best part of that was at the very end was just imagine what it'd be like, and it pans over to the TV. It's showing an alternate reality where Marcia doesn't have that specific dialect anymore, and she's like she's like a sports announcer, and she starts and next time we're gonna have this and this and this. Tim? And then Tim said, thanks.
It's such a silly joke, but I love it.
It's good stuff. Like that's the stuff. I'm especially looking forward to that sort of like cartoon logic in Scott Pilgrim. But we'll get to that soon enough.
We'll get to that when we get to that.
Ooh.
I don't know if there's anything else really.
There's a funny.
There would be more to talk about if Mike and Brian actually had a subplot together.
Yeah.
I want to see them interact more.
Yeah, they had like a great time with that security guard. But instead it was just like it's like we gotta find him, and then he just disappears.
Yeah, they're just like I was like, okay, there's gonna be hype looking for Colin. One moment I have is like I think Mike goes to see Brian, who's like crying about like Twist and a painting of Twist, and there's just like they're like, we gotta go find Colin, and then just they leave. Mike goes, bye Twist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that happened in this episode as well. I'll have my thought. I'll say my thoughts about Twist later on. Real quick, the one joke I want to say was Daisy trying to like flirt with men, but her way of doing it is just, hey, pull my finger. and then she does it with Dwayne Benji.
And when she does it with him, the timer ends. Timer's over.
Wow.
All right, episode 13, Disillusion. So random bystander here. This is a big one, so please summarize Disillusion.
Actually, I'm kind of tired, Ryan. Why don't you take care of it?
Thanks, Tim.
That was a completely different reference, but okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was it called again?
Disillusion.
Oh my
god. So this episode is Daisy's birthday. Happy birthday to Daisy. Happy birthday. But it's kind of, she's not really feeling it, I guess. She's not the only one who sees Tim with Sophie. Marcia sees Tim with Sophie, and she's like, oh god, Sophie, because they're having an affair, spending more time with her than him, and Mike is mad about that. Pressuring Daisy to look nice. Remember what went on with Brian for some reason, but and eventually they all go meet up for dinner, and Daisy is all dressed up nice with Sophie, but instead they spill the beans that they were never a couple. Marcia is betrayed. She feels like she's been lied to, and they're sad, and they destroy a cake.
Good. I didn't need to take that long, but great.
That's the joke. I always take these long.
That was 3 minutes.
That was 3 minutes out of 10 that we allocated. So first, I want to say the shocking thing about this episode was that Daisy were 25 for most of the series.
Oh yeah, dang.
She chose 26, which means that she's younger than I am.
She's as old as I am.
And they're already making jokes about.
Wait, we're the same age.
The back feeling bad and
you're not.
Stuff.
Wait, you're not 26. We're the same age.
What?
We're 26.
That's what I said.
You said she's younger. Oh, she was younger. Okay, continue.
God, good lord.
4 minutes have passed.
All right.
Okay. So, yeah, this is quite a lot in this episode. A lot of double speak in this. It's the classic sort of thing where two characters they think they're talking about the same thing, and the dialogue is written in a way where it could apply to both of them. Like specifically when Marcia tries to confront Tim about this, but Tim thinks that Marcia is confronting about the typewriter cake, and he said, "I don't want to ruin this. I don't want to spoil the surprise." You bastard!
What?
Yeah. Other than that, though, there's nothing really noteworthy about the episode to me.
Was there? No, I don't think the last season had this, where it was the the penultimate episode was leading up to the finale. At least I don't.
Well, I mean, some other things of note happen with the other characters. It's kind of when Brian reaches a peak with having broken up. You can see Twist doesn't really care about it at all. Big thing, and I was mad at Tim at this. Mike's promotion to sergeant.
Yeah.
And Tim forgot about it because he was with Sophie.
Being promoted to sergeant next week, don't forget.
I won't.
I'm being promoted to sergeant on Saturday. Don't forget.
I won't.
What's that? I'm being promoted to sergeant tomorrow. Don't forget.
I won't. Yeah, I forgot.
Like, I know
it was
did it for
funny.
the joke,
it was funny, but I was so mad at Tim.
I was mad too.
There's a good. The way it's delivered is not. It's not supposed to be like a big such a big line, but somewhere in his rant, Mike says, "You're my longest serving friend,"
And yeah.
which is such a Mike thing to say.
My favorite line, he literally just goes up to Sophie and he's like, "If you break his heart, I'll kill you." Did he mean that? And he hugs her and she's like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Yeah. This was definitely also in this episode is when Daisy's mom calls in and says, "Hey, there's I know someone who can get you a job at this get you a good writing job. It's at the Colwyn Bay Gazette." And as an American, I'm like, what the fuck did that mean? And why does Daisy look so sad about this? It turns out that Colwyn Bay is like a seaside town. So the implication is that like a newspaper would have like nothing to say about a seaside town. Yeah, that was.
No.
And also yes, like Random said, apparently for some reason there's constant references about like trying to like look good. Marcia comes in with some lipstick. I think the implication is that Marcia is given the lipstick to try to help her like repair the relationship with Tim, because at the time she thinks that she thinks that he's an adulterer.
Poor Marcia is so caring. I know she was treated like as the butt of a joke in the first season mostly, but my God, does she care? She does care.
Yeah, that's kind of this episode. Kind of started to like her a little bit more.
Yeah,
13 episodes in.
Because my God, she sees this and it's like her thought isn't a meaning. Oh my God, they aren't a couple. She's like, oh my God, she's betraying. He stabbed the back of one of my best friends. Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, and Marcia and Daisy actually did kind of start forming a bond. It wasn't just one-sided.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like there was a genuine like it was a friendship, and it was
so much so that you actually feel really bad when they tell her the truth. Although I could have sworn the truth was told in the final episode of last season, but I could be wrong.
No, definitely not told.
Okay. Well, told now.
Yeah, I feel like I remember something like that happening, but maybe it was just something similar and it wasn't quite that. Everybody else knew, I know that.
Yeah, I
literally everyone.
I mean, not much about the rest of the series sticks, but I still vividly remember the Brian moment when they told him, and then when they messed up in front of Marcia, Brian saved it.
Yes, oh my God, that was great.
I also it's very clearly the very end of it was making parallels with the Empire Strikes Back.
Oh my God! Literally.
Speaking of the ending, let me tell you about my viewing experience of this episode. Technically the next one also, but I caught it, so it wasn't a big deal. But for this episode, for some reason, when I started watching it, the episode began at the end when they were talking about how they were going to look for Marcia and get her back. And it started at such like a perfect point. It was the very beginning of that scene. And I was like, oh, this is a weird opening gag. And then the credits started rolling. And I was like, wow, they're really taking this ending gag seriously. And then the video stopped. was like, oh god, I just watched the end of the episode. Now I gotta watch the rest of the episode and pretend that I didn't see the end of the episode.
I thought you were talking about the dark room, but that's even better.
Oh my god, I forgot about the dark room. I have no idea what the point of that was.
When the lighting is blue and it's dark, and they're like, "I'll get Marcia back."
It's harder to see, but the point with the dark room is that because Brian is developing photos from the party before, and he accidentally makes some creases, and those creases just so happen to split Marcia and everybody else, and it's like oh god, what could this mean? What could this mean?
I know what it means. It means the timer's over.
Okay.
I was just gonna say one last thing. What
the timer's over?
Time is over.
Right,
episode 14. Episode 14 leaves. Speaking of the time is over.
If you want to say more, don't spend 3 minutes on the episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Then don't tell me to narrate it.
Episode 14 leaves. I'll say it. This is continuing. This is essentially part 2 of Disillusion. And the point of this is we gotta get the gang back together. Trying to get a lot of people back in this case. It starts off with trying to get Marcia back, then it splits off into trying to get Colin back, and then it splits off into trying to get Daisy back. Also Sophie shows up. They were dating for a while, and then she says, "Oh, I got a job with Marvel in Seattle, and I gotta go tomorrow. Bye."
Well, I mean, they spend one night together. I like how they were trying to come up with
one
ideas.
Very nice night together. Yes.
They were trying to come up with ideas to get Marcia to come back, but as soon as Tim, had the idea to spend the night with Sophie, he just walks out and goes, "Oh well, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Good night."
and then and Mike, being his classic Mike, it's the cartoon gag of just like hearing the gears inside his head.
Yeah.
Ding. And he figured out a way to save the day. But yeah, this is very busy. It also it has an intro where it's like I was like, what the fuck is this? Where it's shot like a sitcom intro of a different sitcom. And like, what the fuck is this? And I looked it up, and it turns out that's exactly what it was. It's a British sitcom from around the same time this show came out, called The Royal Family, that had the exact same look and everything. So okay, I guess they just wanted to throw that one in. That's spaced. We just wanted to throw that one in.
Yep, they just do a lot of stuff just because.
Oh, I don't remember if it was this episode or last episode, but during the end credits, there was space. I remember shouting,
that was the
"It's outer space! It's space! It happened!"
Well, that was the last episode.
That was the Star Wars episode. That was the Star Wars reference. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because it's like it's a huge wrap up, but like what can we say about?
Well, here's what I'll say about it.
Yeah.
How everything in the last literal 5 minutes just kind of came together with no explanation.
Oh my god.
That was very not British.
Yes, I completely agree.
It was very American. And knowing who we're talking about here, Edgar Wright, that makes a lot of sense.
I even looked up to see what shows they were inspired by, and it was all it was The Simpsons, X-Files, and a Canadian show called Northern Exposure. Very American ideals of a big happy ending. The previous episode was the one time when they didn't have a happy ending, and they made a Star Wars reference just to hit home the unhappy ending.
So did you like the ending? I mean, I guess there's more we could say about the episode, but before that, did we like the way it ended?
Not
rushed.
really.
Yeah,
No.
Same. I didn't like it either.
I actually remember this.
I was
being...
finally starting to get into it, and then the last 2 episodes were just very.
I remember my first time watching. The ending of this was very lackluster. What I thought would happen was Tim and Daisy having a dance together, but that was season 1. So whoops! It was just
I thought when it said 1 minute later they were walking back all happy. I thought because they do this a lot. I thought it was going to be one of those where, you know, the whole happy montage happens and then it cuts to Tim and he's like, "Yeah, that's not going to happen."
Oh,
that's what I was expecting, and then it kept going. And then that's just how the series ended.
Yeah.
With Tim on an axe robot.
That was a good callback.
Yeah, that's fun.
You know what vehicle we do have that's slightly faster than walking?
And it's very clear that like they were like hinting at the tank, but no, it's the robot.
Yeah. I mean, it is very slightly faster.
Very slightly faster indeed. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. There are a lot of great things about American media, but one of the things that is not great are the rushed happy ending.
Yes, this one, especially like a. God, do I want to talk about rushed happy endings of other shows? But I will save that, especially for spoilers. Yeah, this one, especially because like a few of the conflicts were introduced in this episode, which just made it feel more rushed. Like Colin running,
exactly.
Colin running away was happening like in the middle of the Marcia thing.
Oh my god, yes! I thought that was so weird.
And then it was resolved when there was still like 10 minutes left in the episode.
Yeah, like they were like, I literally at one point thought to myself, okay, this is the last episode. Are they really gonna have a subplot right now with Daisy and the dog? Really?
Yeah. It doesn't work. I honestly don't think all I can think doing this was where's Gary? Gary with the old lady, and the conclusion of that was just that like Colin finally shows up and just said your new name is Lancelot, and then Colin's is back in the house.
Yeah.
Hi, Colin, you're back.
Legitimately, the SpongeBob episode gets more credit because what makes Gary want to leave. What makes Gary want to leave is not only he finally sees SpongeBob remorse, but also like the snail shells in the closet of like dead snails.
Yeah.
And then he starts running away, and the old lady is chasing him, and they're running at the same speed. Like on all fronts, the SpongeBob episode works better.
Yeah.
See, Edgar Wright, you could have learned from SpongeBob.
Well, I'll give Edgar Wright some credit. Have you seen The Snail came out after?
Oh yeah, good point. Never mind. But yeah, I don't know. Right. Is there anything else worth mentioning? I know Brian and Mike have a great moment together with the cassette tapes.
Yeah, that was this episode. I loved that. Brian is listening to his Scream tape. Mike takes it out and puts in like motivational drum roll.
Oh, it was like music from like Thunderbirds, and he's just like And he's like, "Are you a man or a mouse?
Are you a man or are you a mouse?" And Brian just squeaks.
Yeah.
Oh, another joke is like, all right, I'm gonna talk to her. I'm the one with the best communication skills. Nothing personal. It's just like I can really talk to people. Do you understand?
No. If we're talking about a great Mike thing, was Daisy realizes that Colin left and said he went next door. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. What happened? He walked. I thought he. My mom told me that was a euphemism for being dead. It's like, wait, you saying my rabbit is dead? It's been 18 years. Where did you think he went? Next door. Sure.
And then Daisy, and then like right after Daisy is listing all the things that changed, then after the third she gets cut off because Mike says, "My rabbit."
My rabbit.
My rabbit.
Mike's rabbit. My rabbit's dead.
Moral of the story is that Mike is the best character of the show.
He literally is the best character in the show. He's the best character in the show. Anything else?
There's a callback to the very first episode. Because what gave it like a ticking clock element was that Marcia is about to sell the house, and you see some new tenants torn into place, and they start saying like beat for beat like lines from the first episode, and then they get to the closet, and it's Tim and Daisy acting like the twins in the first. What are you doing here?
I like to interpret that as the twins were the previous owner of the house or of the apartment room, and that this is just a cycle every time that the room gets sold.
I mean, the first episode explicitly explained why they're inside the closet, but I'm gonna go with that instead. Yeah. So, overall, this was I can't really say it's not the worst episode, because the worst episode is a third one, which is just like painful. But this one was also like writing wise, it did not hold up.
Yeah, it's just boring.
Yeah,
it's boring and it doesn't make sense. But what does make sense is that the timer is over.
Yeah,
thank goodness.
Final
thoughts on Spaced.
We didn't even mention like Mike stealing a tank. And
oh my god, he stole a tank. Yeah.
But I mean, Mike things.
That's just classic Mike at this point. Like,
yeah.
And he stole a tank to basically like do the boombox thing, where he
all right,
where a boyfriend apologizes to their girlfriend.
All right.
Okay. Final thoughts.
I will start. Gosh, I think that overall I enjoyed this day. Definitely ended in a rough note. It was very rushed. Like KirbyFan said, it's very American in that respect. That it just tried to like rush up everything, but it was weird that it was rushing up so much when it was just introducing things to rush later on. I still enjoyed the show overall. It has the classic quick wit, the classic quick whips of the camera, and it had some fun like visual guys and stuff like that. Characters. I feel like this season was focusing a little less on characters and more on like cool like set pieces and things like that. That's me at least. Cause I mean, there's still some good stuff along here. I mean, the heist in the comic book building or whatever is a lot of fun. Of course, we get to see classic Mike eating coffee straight from the can. And there's also fun to just see like all the dozens and dozens of references that they squeeze in there, and squeeze it in like seamlessly so that you don't have to have watched the film to enjoy the joke. And yeah, that's Spaced. I'm more interested in like what this show is gonna be. Like when we go into the future movies and we start to see like, oh hey, it's that guy from such and such. But that's Spaced in a nutshell. It was a good fun. Ended in a whimper, but it had some really great character moments and great jokes along the way.
Oh look, it's that guy from Dead Right.
It's the teacher from Dead Right.
Random. What are your final thoughts on Spaced? The series.
It's all right. Like there's some moments that genuinely made me laugh out loud, but other times I'm just like, yeah, it's okay. I probably like season 1 more than season 2 because yes, season 1 was more about character development, while season 2 was just more how many jokes can we fit in and maybe we'll get a story out of it, and or how many cool shots can we get into references and all that stuff. Especially when you compare it to the ending of season 1, season 2 just felt like, oh god, we gotta end this somehow. There, done. Like it was done in a first draft. I just didn't like the ending at all. I thought it was way too rushed. Again, the fact that they decided to put a subplot for Colin the dog, which should have honestly been in its own separate episode.
Yep.
Or at least the
finale.
One.
Or in the previous one even. In the finale. Heck, why didn't you even combine that with why didn't you have combine that with the other episode while with Tim and Daisy at the pub, and Brian and Mike have to get Colin out of the old lady's neighbor.
That's a really good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Why didn't they do that? They had the space. Maybe they wanted to make a joke of, oh, we'll never know what they did. But honestly, why? Why? I think if they, again, I can't write the show, but that felt like if you should have done that then, not in the finale. Like,
yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm not sure if they were planning for it to be a finale. Maybe they thought, oh, they'll get a third season. But it just seemed rushed, and I just didn't like it. And I put a sour taste in my mouth for the ending of season 2. Again, there's individual. I like season 1 more. If I ever watch it again, I'll probably just watch season 1 and maybe some episodes I liked of season 2. But
yeah,
I'll be honest, it was okay. It was okay. Do I honestly feel I'll watch it again? Probably not. I don't see myself really watching it again in the future. Maybe a compilation of the best moments in space. Sure. I could do that. I'll probably watch that. But the whole series again, unless we do it for a podcast or something, I don't think so. It was great, but it had its great moments. Mike is the best character in season 2, and Brian, I think, is still my favorite in season 1.
Okay.
But it was okay. It was okay.
Okay. Well, let's wrap it up with the Kirby fan. What are your final thoughts on space?
All right, I've been doing a pretty good job of not saying this so far in the podcast.
I was waiting for this.
You already know where it's going. Spaced can't. It was doomed from the start because it was live action, not animated. And I've been thinking a long time why that's such a problem for me. Best thing that I've got is that, I mean, except for the fact that just looking at animation, there's stuff you can talk about. We talk about animation so much more because there are single frames that matter. With live action, it's just like it's more about talking about the shot, which isn't really something you do when talking about the story. When you're talking about like specific frames of an animation, that all comes together. And another thing is just that I've always thought animation was just inherently so much more interesting. Even, just looking at 11 or 22 minute episodes, which 22, which is what Spaced would be. There's just so many more places you can go and so many more imaginative directions that you can take animation. When you watch animation, you never know where it's going to go. Live action is always limited by what the budget and the actors can do. And I mean, animation is limited in the budget sense as well. But there's still so much more you can do with it, so much more unpredictability just in the very description of animation. With live action, you don't really get any of that, and I understand that it gives live action that sense of realism, which is what this was going for. But real life sucks. I don't want to think about it. I want to think about animation. So I've also figured out kind of why it's not so much a problem with me for movies, and that's just because movies are a lot shorter. A lot of these problems don't come to light because, I'm not constantly watching this over and over and over. It's much more isolated. Now, that said, I generally prefer animated movies to live action as well. But with live action, as we'll see with Shaun of the Dead, live action movies is just a lot easier for me to get into because it's just a lot easier to talk about everything that happens. Yeah. It's not like with TV shows where, you're looking for stuff to talk about and you just wish you could be like, oh, this frame was drawn really well. I love these backgrounds. But you can't because it's not animated. Point being, even though I don't want to say I got into it more than I expected because I really didn't, but I appreciated it, maybe. Well, we'll go with that for now. I appreciated it more than I expected to. Okay. I definitely respect it. That's no questions asked. Even season 1, season 2, I respect it. Respect Edgar Wright, respect the cast. They did put together something entertaining, and if live action TV is your thing, you'll really like it. Live action TV is absolutely not my thing. Mm-hmm. But I love Mike. That the
Mike
show
is the best.
I watched till the end for Mike. And
in the end, he did save the day. He did
save the day. Mike is the hero, and I am looking forward to seeing more of Nick Frost, and of course Simon Pegg. Soon.
And the very last.
Let me add this.
Oh,
even though I didn't really get into his character much, Simon Pegg, incredible actor.
Yes.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
He really threw some chops in there. Yeah, great. I was gonna mention that like the very last shot of Mike in this show is when he puts a blindfold around Marsha and teaches her how to assemble a gun. Good old Mike.
Good old Mike.
Classic Mike.
I don't think it's as good as his last shot in the original when he was just shooting guns.
Just shooting the guns.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
That was spaced.
Oh, I also want to mention that there were twists I just never got into at all. Like
we didn't bring her up. Oh yeah. I forgot about her.
I don't think anybody did. I got into her.
I just couldn't get into it. I went into this second time just trying to like find something, but they just really like her.
Nobody in the show could get into her like Brian did. That's it.
But that was about it. Like literally like the backstory of her character is that like the Jessica Hines had a friend who was like that, where she just makes those sorts of like backhanded compliments, and so that's her entire character is backhanded compliments, and there's just nothing. And we don't even get like a twist centric episode. It was just a whole lot of like if there was anything involving twist, then it was really more about Brian.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it was just like twist. I just never got into, and I'm very sorry to the actress who played her. Did the best she could. Twist still had some great comedy lines along the way. But yeah, I just could not get into Twist like at all. Also, they introduced Sophie, and Sophie is there.
Yeah,
she's very there.
She's like, "Hey, I'm a girlfriend to cause romantic tension."
Yeah,
between Daisy and Tim, which may or may not be there.
I'm choosing to think it's not there just because like
oh no, they teased it multiple times.
I think they teased it like jokingly. No, I don't think just because it's the sitcom thing to do, but I don't think that's what genuinely is happening. At least that's what I think. Apparently the writers have said that they eventually get in the future they eventually get married. So fuck me, I guess.
Well, that's great.
American.
Yeah, American. Apparently Tim would later work for Marvel. like the Marvel.
That must be weird interacting with that old coworker.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's all I can think. Think on who else to discuss. Yeah, I still like pretty much all the other characters. Good work around there. That's it. We did it. We're done.
Space is over.
I hate to say thank God, but it's not because
I just want to get to the movies already.
Yeah, I want to get to Shaun of the Dead and not Scott Pilgrim.
I'm typically more of a TV person than a movie person, but those are for animated works. I guess when it comes to live action, it's just the script is reversed.
It was very hard to. We were even discussing like after the recording the last episode. It was like, can we just get Shaun of the Dead?
Well, it was a good idea, I guess.
Yeah, we might try to do this if we're ever doing this like a TV podcast, then it's probably going to be animated.
Yeah,
we'll have
if
to
only
see.
For me, please.
We'll have to see in like what we'd need to do in order for that to work. Because part of what makes it easier with this is that like the all the episodes are 22 minutes. So if we were doing like an 11-minute SpongeBob episode, then we have to talk for like 4 minutes each or something like that. Unless we just
tune in next time for when we switch and decide to go all 12 seasons of Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, Okay, thank you.
Which is like an hour long per episode. Or like, what? Okay. 20 episodes each season?
I don't know anything about it, so the joke just went right over my head. But
yeah, it's just long and not animated. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. It's not animated. Yeah, that's the important thing to know about Grey's Anatomy. Okay. So,
all the Grey's Anatomy fans out there, unsubscribe. I thought they were going to do that.
Okay, and now I will set the stage because we just finished up. And in order to set the stage for the next episode, we need to go back to 1999. Because in 1999, one of the first scenes that they shot for Space happens to be the Resident Evil zombie shootout sequence. After the morning after they shot this, they said, you know what? We ought to make a zombie movie one day. And that is exactly what happened. Because in 2004, we got the Edgar Wright's first proper feature film. We're not counting Fistful of Fingers. Shaun of the Dead.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes. Yes.
I am
finally.
What I'm most excited for is a 75-minute timer.
I'm glad to have an excuse to see that movie again.
It's been a while for me.
I saw it.
It's been a while
recently.
For me too.
I've seen it a month or two ago. I want to say is the last time I saw it. Okay. I just want to see it again.
I felt that's okay by me. So tune in next time as we and it's not only is the first proper like Edgar Wright film, it's the first of a trilogy, which we will delve into soon enough. Ice cream. But that's it for Space. I've been the Wash.
I'm Random Bystander here.
And I'm Animated Fan. Hatsune Miku.
I'm out of here. Bye, Spaced.
Bye, Spaced.
Hatsune Miku. I'm out of here.
You were never about space after all.